As of last night, Israeli reports indicate that more than 900 Israelis, including foreign nationals, have been killed. At least 2,616 people have been injured, according to the Ministry of Health in Israel. Meanwhile, according to the Ministry of Health in Gaza, at least 687 Palestinians have been killed and 3,800 others injured.
Last night, a building that houses the UNRWA headquarters in Gaza City sustained significant damage as a result of airstrikes nearby. This brings the recorded number of buildings from UNRWA that sustained damage to 18. So 18 of our facilities, including a school for the visually impaired in Gaza and our headquarters in Gaza City, were damaged. Approximately 80 UNRWA schools. We are now housing more than 137,000 residents of Gaza who left their homes in fear of their homes being attacked or destroyed. The 137,000 displaced into UNRWA schools are now in more than the 54 schools that are ready to receive them, and therefore we are extremely concerned about our ability as UNRWA to respond to these huge needs, both because of the ongoing situation, security or lack thereof, but also because UNRWA, even prior to this conflict, was already stretched to its financial limits and its resource limits.
According to reports, hundreds of Israeli and Palestinian children have been killed and many more injured in the last 72 hours. The killing and maiming of children is a grave violation, and willful killing is a serious breach of international humanitarian law. We again, like all colleagues here, call on all parties not to target children and take all necessary actions to ensure their protection during these hostilities. In addition, there are reports of the abduction of Israeli children to the Gaza Strip. The abduction of children by any party to the conflict constitutes a grave violation, and hostage-taking is prohibited by international humanitarian law in all circumstances. UNICEF calls for the immediate and safe release of all hostages.
We are deeply shocked and appalled by allegations of summary execution of civilians and, in some instances, horrifying mass killings by members of Palestinian armed groups. The imposition of sieges that endanger the lives of civilians by depriving them of goods essential for their survival is prohibited under international humanitarian law. Any restriction on the movement of people and goods to implement a siege must be justified by military necessity, or it may amount to collective punishment. The current situation is it's an armed conflict, that's clear. In an armed conflict, all sides have the obligation to respect international humanitarian law. This includes Hamas, the Israeli side, all armed groups that are involved have the obligation to respect international humanitarian law. And this, of course, this conflict is taking place in the wider context of an occupation by Israel of Gaza. So there are other obligations. On the treatment of the people who were abducted and killed by Hamas, as we said, this is horrific. This is clear violation of international law. The desecration of bodies is sick and disgusting and horrific, and we've been deeply distressed by these images. We have seen bodies being paraded as trophies. We have seen the desecration of bodies.
A humanitarian corridor is needed to reach people with critical medical supplies, and WHO will work with partners on this. The pre-positioned supplies, which were in 7 major hospitals on the Gaza Strip, have now been used up. As of 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, 13 health attacks have been confirmed in the Gaza Strip since the beginning of the current escalation of the violence. This resulted in 6 health workers being killed, 4 health workers being injured, 9 ambulances affected, and 8 health facilities affected.